Alright, I'm back. This video was supposed to drop last week, but I was really sick, so it got postponed for a week. I still feel a little under the weather, so if I sound a bit different, that's why. Anyways, thanks for clicking on the video, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alan Wake 2 is kind of a weird game to review. I will try not to spoil too much, but it's hard to talk about this game without doing so at all. Alan Wake 2 is a sequel to Alan Wake from 2010. This game has multiple DLCs, plus a spin-off game, and the story goes further in 2016's Game of the Year, Control. Here Alan Wake gets featured in a DLC. Remedy, the developers, have made this whole universe for their games, and I think that is really cool. The game itself is about a novelist, Alan Wake, that gets stuck in what's called the Dark Place. Once again, I don't want to spoil too much, but this is basically a parallel dimension. Alan is mainly concerned about getting his girlfriend safe in the first, and is kinda doing the same in 2. But this time, he really wants to get out himself too. Getting out of this dark place is pretty hard though. The shadows work against him. Fighting him, looping him to the same place, scaring him and more. He has this great power of being able to write things into this reality, but it's not as easy to let it manifest because it has to make sense in his story. But being able to write the story has gameplay features too. For example, if you learn about something, like for example ritual, you can write a ritual theme over key places you visit on the chalkboard in your kind of hub, and these locations will transform to go with the set ritual narrative. I hope I explained that somewhat well. It's really vague, but it's kind of a weird mechanic too, although it's really cool. There are more caveats to this, but you will have to play it for yourself because figuring everything out is definitely part of the fun. But that's not all. In Alan Wake 2 you have two protagonists. In the Dark Place you have Alan, but in our real world you have Saga Anderson. An FBI agent taking over as a main investigator from Alex Casey. A famous FBI investigator Alan had wrote a lot of books about. This case she gets as her first main case from Casey proves to be a really weird one, as a dark place is slipping into our worlds in the form of overlaps. And she's trying everything to stop it. I don't feel like I can say much more without heavily spoiling, but these are the basics. The game is very narrative driven, and thus talking about the plot is really hard without ruining it. I do think I've left it vague enough so you can still uncover all the cool things the game has to offer. Speaking of the narrative, it is superb. I really like the story and the dialogue between characters. It feels like real dialogue, it offers intrigue, and in general it leads you to where you have to go. Plus, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. The graphics for this game are bar none the best I've seen probably in gaming. Although really hard to run at max with ray tracing, like it's not even doable with max ray tracing, I did run it on max settings without and it still looked amazing. I do somewhat feel like they should have optimized the ray tracing setting better, as it's almost impossible to run smoothly even with a 4090. That said, the detail in every scene, the ambiance, the visual clarity is A+, and it adds a lot to the game's spooks and horror vibe, as it is of course more immersive than a 2D pixel game to sketch in the extreme. It looks hyper-realistic. That mixed with the instant reality switches that go on in these scenes is truly something to behold. The audio design is remarkable enough to talk about as well. Everything sounds great here, there's a lot of detail in it all. Doors creaking, mumbling from the monsters, the growling from wolves in the forest you can't see, the breaking of sticks under your boots, and everything. It really does feel real and adds this amazing layer on top of the game. The level design with the trippy looping levels, the scary and the bizarre, are something to appraise the game for too. Now there are things I don't like about the game too though. I think the player character moves a bit too slow. It sometimes just takes too long to walk across the map to do some small side stuff, which kinda gets me out of the game. It's not super fun feeling when you get punished for solving a puzzle with a fight almost every and each time, and on top of these issues I didn't like the constant jump scares. Towards the end of the game it really got my eyes rolling. My final thoughts are that it's an amazing horror game that has superb graphical fidelity, great characters, a very cool art/level design that moves just a tad too slow, overdoes the jump scares a bit too much with an ending I can't really get behind. It didn't really blow my mind, but it's pretty good. My score for Alan Wake 2 is a 7.5 out of 10. A really enjoyable time with its own problems. Thanks for watching guys. If you're still here, please do consider dropping a like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Have you played the game? Are you planning on doing so in the future? Please let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys next week, hopefully. Goodbye.
From what I've gathered, you grew up nice and sheltered with mama's pretty stories and your own made-up fury. And mama gave
magic clicker. Well, yes, I think it's true and fair to say.
So you were drawn to stories early on.
My dreams would light up my imagination,
And you had nightmares night and day.
yeah, but with the clicker I chased those frights away.